One of the weirdest things we're getting sent right now at the end of the season is how egos are just running wild. Like, I'm talking about like tiger in the jungle stalking its prey. I was trying to make a joke. I just literally can't make a joke here. I don't even know what to say. It's just not really that funny. So we're just gonna move on from that. Yeah, there's like been like a couple few clips that have been submitted now that are just like, wow, I cannot even understand what is going on, especially in like lower keys. I'm gonna show you guys two clips today. One is clearly very different than the other. I think you guys are gonna have some funny commentary on this one, but I think I just really want to have a greater discussion point here. What do you guys think is actually causing this, and how can it be addressed? You probably need to see the clip to be able to respond to it properly, but like, I just want that to be the first thought in your head before you watch any of this, like, because it's clearly a problem that people are actually just like ruining keys because of this weird ego thing. You can look at every clip that gets submitted. It's all the same thing. The key is easy, the players make it hard, and I just don't know how to solve that. But yeah, let's just get right into it. All right, so we got another one with an email description. I'm going to read that first to set this first clip up, but as you see, we are here in 11 Throne. Wasn't fully recording, but I managed to get 5 minutes from Shadow Play, just doing an Alt 11 on my Shaman for fun, joined a Pug. The part that's missing is the Demon Hunter problem child typing in the party, "Get the fuck out with the blue circle," to which the tank replies, "Dude, it's just an 11 key." Then we see in the chat the Demon Hunter types, "It doesn't matter." Then the guy who's recording this said he actually forgot to lust on the first pull of the dungeon, so he decided to just use it on this boss instead, and then the rest unfolds from here. So they're already arguing about a boss on an 11. If you're just looking at it empirically, obviously it should matter to do the mechanics on an 11. This is actually like a big part of the problem in the first place. A lot of people are just not doing mechanics on low keys, and this is causing them to pretty much like not learn anything about the key, and then just, you know, effectively do the same mistake in higher keys, and making this weird like embarrassing situation happen where people are just straight up like not aware of certain mechanics. But in terms of like actually killing the boss, obviously no, it's never going to matter. Like nothing on this difficulty should ever really kill anybody, but the boss dies in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So like, I don't know, with less, that's still pretty slow. You probably can barely see the DPS chart there, but like that boss, the guy, the Demon Hunter, does 92k. The next up is 63k, and then 50k. That's the Enhanced Shaman, and then the Death Knight, in that order. So we get to this boss, and this is a common target to have lust, right? Typically you'd lust on the first pull, and then here, I mean, on an 11, I don't even know where that plays in because they're only 8 minutes into the key. So it's actually kind of funny because this guy's arguing about lust. He says wasted lust. Then the tank, who's a warrior, he says, "Dude, it's an 11," which, yeah, I mean, the first comment about it being an 11 and the guy doing the mechanic wrong that isn't shown in the footage, that one I could kind of see the argument for, like, yeah, you really should probably be doing mechanics in all levels just to practice them. But yeah, if we're arguing about lust and you're wasting it, like, bro, we're 8 minutes into the dungeon. Like, come on, man, this is not a wasted lust at all. You're only going to get 2 in this dungeon at this timer, obviously, so I don't know why you would even say this. Then it gets really bad. Now this guy's actually from Fire Tree, which was my original realm. It is the alt of somebody that I swear I've played with. I just don't know for sure. If anybody like is watching this still from the old days when we played on Fire Tree, look it up and just see if you know this guy, because the name sounds ultra familiar. I talked to some people who I used to play with back in the day, and they didn't necessarily recognize him. But anyway, regardless, the Demon Hunter says, "If it's an 11, I'm sure you could handle it with 2 DPS. So that's why it's included in this video. Like, what the fuck kind of comment is that, bro? You're gonna leave an 11 because somebody bloodlusted when you didn't want to? And that is just pure ego, right? Like, there's not a single problem with that blood. You could do this dungeon without lusting, but it's just like absurd to say that out loud. Like, you think you are so important to this key that you're able to then hang that over the heads of the players and threaten them with leaving? Then it gets even worse. Nobody says anything, which is the right response, by the way. He then replies to the nothing. He says, "That's what the fuck I thought." Like, wow, you got some serious problems in your head. The druid says, "You are free to leave at any point with that attitude." And like, yeah, fuck it, dude. If somebody says this in my key, that's fine. We're done, man. There's no way I'm playing with this key. The tank, who's the group leader, says, "Honestly, I'm not gonna deal with that, lol." And then he just straight up leaves the group. The weirdest part about it is the Demon Hunter. Like, dude, the group's already gone. The tank just left. The Demon Hunter then says, "Chumps will come with." He then goes on to say, "Bitch, tank." Like, what? But you challenged him and he responded. It's clear that he's probably here only to carry his friend or something like that. And, you know, like we say, people just get invited to keys that they don't need, and this is the result. Yes, I get it. This is not unexpected, but it's just so weird. Like, especially because you're helping your friend. I don't know. I guess if like you've already publicly outed yourself as like a total idiot, then your friend probably expects it too at this point. But yeah, like, by the way, I'm here to help you, but like my ego comes first, bro. Like, how fucking nuts is that, right? Like, this dude is so worried about his own ego that even his friend that he's helping gets fucked in the wayside. Like, that's actually insane to me. But we have another clip, which you guys might remember. If you watch all the videos I published on this channel this season, you will probably remember something very similar. You might not recognize the guy because it's on a different character now. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this one too. This one's probably going to be funny and maybe draw a few comments from you guys. All right, so we are back with the footage of a guy who at the time was playing a warlock. You might remember this. I mean, it has to be brought up. I can't avoid the conversation. It was the guy who was like pulling trash for the tank. The tank was going a different direction and he was forcing him to go his own direction. And yeah, unfortunately, in that case, his ego kind of caused the key to not be able to function. And then the monk kind of lost his interest in the key and ends up disbanding it. So that was kind of bad. That was kind of the start of this conversation. And now we are here with kind of the ending of the conversation. I respect though. I mean, like, you're sending me this stuff, man. I don't know if the dude's even watching my videos on his videos, but like, I have respect for you sending me this stuff. I would encourage introspection because right here you're gonna see yeah, okay, so he's standing in front of the tank, he gets hit by the frontal. Honestly, bro, like, this is not even that big of a deal. Like, it really isn't. It's a 19, it's a little bit higher of a key than the other one at least, but it's really not a big deal at all. So they do battle res him, and yeah, you can't really see it because he's got his webcam over the chat, but like, there's a bunch of typing going on right now that is gonna get shown here in a second. But yeah, I just want to show you that they battle res him and killed the boss. Like, that's it. No other problems. The boss is dead. It's a 6.5 minute split. This is a little slow, but again, it's really not a problem. I'm sure you can make up plenty of time for the rest of the dungeon. In no way is this a wipe. In no way is this a disband. In no way is this a failure at all until this fucking happens. So it actually shows us the chat. Otherwise, we can't see. Like, this is all unfolding over the course of a few minutes, I guess. Basically, he put those markers down. You might have seen him put the markers down. He wants the tank to do all the mechanics with references to the markers. So from what I could tell, like, yeah, sure, that's a great strategy and all, but like, it's a 19, bro. Like, we're just killing the boss here. It's not a big deal. It's a fortified key even, you know? So like, I think his defense would be like, he's standing where he expects to be and he's expecting the tank to point all the mechanics at the marker. And this is to keep all like the baiting of the mechanics on the sides of the fight and never be interacting with the middle of the room. Again, it's like a perfectly viable strategy, but probably should communicate it beforehand. I don't know if that actually happened. So the tank is, I guess, upset that he dies to the frontal. He goes, really, dude? Then the person submitting this says, you aimed it at me. The tank says, no, you are blind. The mage says, no, you're not supposed to aim it at the group. Again, referencing the strategy he tried to lay out. The tank then says, you are not supposed to be facing the frontal. I didn't move at all. Mage says, maybe turn him around then. Tank says, maybe open your eyes. Mage says, no. Yeah, it's a good retort to that, actually. I like that. Tank says, why were you the only one that died? The demon hunter was on me, but he moved. Then the mage says, like, I mean, I really don't even understand what this comment is. He says, do not make me turn my monitor off too. The tank says, with your DPS, it's already off. And that's kind of it for a bit. Like, that's fine. I guess cooler heads prevail. We're going to continue fighting. Mage is just going to go ahead and initiate the combat here, and then he's going to try to survive that with invis. But obviously, you know, you just got into a fight with the tank. Wouldn't be surprised if that's not going to work out, and it doesn't. He gets killed by melees, and he says, taunt, please. The tank then says, that one was on purpose, meaning he like lets him die to the threat. The mage says, should I kick you now? Be a good way to end the 19. Yeah, that's definitely going to guarantee the failure. The tank says, I'll just get insta invited to another key. That's a blood DK. He's very confident in that ability. Okay. Then yeah, our mage friend says, okay, then I'll just stay dead and you can solo the dungeon. He didn't stay dead. He just instantly released as soon as he typed that. The tank says, don't blame me because you can't play. The paladin in the group is typing in say. He goes, stop wasting people's time. Like, yeah, I don't fucking blame him, man. This is getting kind of silly. He's actually the first person to leave because yeah, this is a total waste of time. Then he's gonna go ahead and actually report him, which is kind of funny because like people suggest doing this all the time, but he reports him and types as the basis of the report, extremely toxic. I feel like the Curb Your Enthusiasm music should play after that comment. I get it, man. Sometimes people just are not in control of their emotions and, you know, difficult content makes that come out. You've seen it on the stream. I'm not going to try to hide it. Like, it's just how it goes. Sometimes you get upset. Certainly been there more than once over the 20 years of playing WoW. But frankly, like, I look at the situation very, very differently when we're talking about something like an 11 or even a 19 at this point in the season. I think, like, you know, if you're failing a hard progression key and this is a very difficult content piece and you're expecting success and you're not getting it, it can be very frustrating. But honestly, dude, when we're talking about keys that like you should really be triple upgrading, I just don't really see where it's coming from. One thing in like, you know, the higher keys where the content is stressing people out and it's boiling over and it causing an eruption of ego. But I think it's a very, very, very different thing when it's like, bro, this content is not challenging us at all. Like, especially in that first clip where the guy's complaining about bloodlust and people not doing mechanics right. Like, what is the point of trying to micromanage this group? Like, do you actually care about the success of this key at all? I don't know if it's just end of season agitation, if people are growing complacent. This is maybe may be a strong case for rotating the dungeons, honestly, because when you have dungeons that people are learning for the first time, those opening weeks are a lot more friendly. I think a lot more people are willing to see mistakes and let them continue. If this was week 1 and somebody blow us at 5 minutes into the key on an 11, is anybody going to even bat an eye? But because it's like, 18 weeks into the season or whatever, people are starting to expect more things from the dungeons. And if they don't get it, then it's immediately like offensive to them and they have to act out. But I honestly don't know how you solve this. And it's actually funny that the dude reports the guy, because people have been talking about this for years. And it's something that I am only like tangentially familiar with from League of Legends. I started playing League of Legends again with Harry. If you didn't see, me and Harry have been doing a coaching series. We're just starting it on the live stream this week, and we should be back with it in the coming weeks. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, him and I have been playing League. We played League a long time ago. And this is like a common talking point there. Like if somebody is very mouthy or playing very, very bad, you can actually report them. I don't know what the reality of reporting them is or does. Like, does it do anything? I have no idea in that game. But like somebody said that something like this should be implemented in WoW, and I'm not necessarily disagreeing with it. I think it just opens up this weird thing though, where like if somebody does something you don't like, then you just instantly report them. But in a PvE situation, I do not think this is the answer, because you're supposed to be teammates. It's supposed to be a team. It's supposed to be a group that's coordinated, and it's just not that at all. Even in hierarchies, like no matter what, like in the pug setting, you just do not have that layer of coordination. People are far too like selfish. I'm the only person who matters in my head, so whatever these other people do, they better just stay out of my way and let me blast, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think it's just a social issue that just can't be solved no matter what Blizzard actually did with hard systems. It's just really hard to grasp, and I just wish the community would just be nicer to each other. Man, it really sucks. I don't know what else to say. Like, just be kinder to each other, man. If you make a mistake, if something happens, it's not the end of the world. You don't need to talk about it. You don't need to argue about it. This is why I always say, like, the least chat and keys, the better, because just making the key impossible when you're talking about these things. It really hurts to see people arguing about very, very easy stuff like this. If you are pugging out there and you are acting like this, please, please just stop pugging, man. There's just no place for it. It's really hurting the game, especially in a low-key situation. Like, there's people like straight up, they're trying to learn, they're trying to progress, and you're just going in there and just stepping all over them. But anyway, rant over. Thank you for watching, guys. If you guys are out there recording low keys, especially going into the start of next season, please, please submit them and send them to me. I'm sure there's going to be really wild rides, hopefully less toxicity as we move into season 4, but I honestly would not doubt if that continues as well. So thank you for watching. We will see you guys in the next video.